Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning. I don't know what part of the world you are tuning in from, but we are in India right now. And it is the afternoon of Holi, which is a Indian Hindu festival where people play with colors, celebrate the spring season, and usually all the cooking staff and house help staff takes the day off. So here we are, our family of chefs and foodies, trying to put lunch on the table. We started the day with a brunch of puri and aloo, which is fried flatbread, and potato curry, which I made. I made the flatbreads. The house help made the potato curry yesterday. And now it's time for a simple lunch for which we all unanimously decided to have vegetable pulao. We are going to be making this with ghee. You can also do this with oil of your choice. The first thing that's going in is our cumin seeds. Okay, so we're gonna just temper these a little bit. These give a nice earthy flavor to the pulao. For the whole spices, we are gonna go in with some cloves. These are whole cloves. This is a whole black cardamom. This is what it looks like. I'm gonna pop that in and allow it to release its aroma. I'll introduce you to my nephew, who's the chef. He just recently got the award for Chef of the Year. This is our red onions. These are 2 red onions, thinly sliced. Those are going to go in. The longest time that this recipe is going to take is in caramelizing the onions. I make several different kinds of pulaus. And this one with the vegetables, I don't make it as brown or as dark as the onion pulao, because then the colors of the vegetables don't really stand out. So my nephew just got done with making a rice kheer, and you see this brown color. It comes from a combination of caramelizing the sugar and also cooking out all of the moisture from the milk, right? So this is now cooling. We're going to, you see the skin is forming on top. It's called malai. Some people love it, some don't. If you're going to cool your milk desserts or custards or kheer in the fridge and you don't want the skin to form, just take some cling film and attach it and put the cling film touching the surface. You'll not get the skin to form. If you like the skin to form, then let it air cool and then drag the skin in, then again let it air cool, so it'll keep on forming a new film of cream. That's the way to do it. Jumping back into our recipe, these are going to keep browning. There's just something lovely about the smell of frying onions, especially with ghee or butter. The aroma that comes out. I'm making it in a pressure cooker, but you can literally just make it in a large bottom pan, pot, whatever you've got. This is about 2.5 cups of basmati rice that we have washed about 5 to 6 times. You can see the water is not murky. So make sure you wash it till the water runs clear. You're going to do, this is the motion that you have to use to rub off all of the starches and the dust that's attached to the grains of rice. That's what you need to do. Okay. And then you'll soak it for a few minutes. Ideally, while the time that you saute all of the onions, the rice will have enough time to do its thing. Okay, so that's going on. Let me see if I can find a better position for the camera. Then I'll be able to show you some of the other things that we're using as well. I'll show you all the vegetables, etc. that are gonna go in. Okay, some of the vegetables that we're gonna put into this are cauliflower. This is fresh cauliflower, just cut it into big chunks. I have 2 potatoes that I've cut into chunks. My sister likes to cut them into moon shapes, but I like them as chunks. And then I have some bell pepper. We were planning to use some carrots, but I couldn't find any, so bell peppers will give a nice aroma. And we are going to use green peas. Okay, so you can literally make this with any kind of freezer vegetables. Add 1 or 2 fresh vegetables, and you can use the rest as freezer vegetables. For aromatics, you can also use curry leaves, you can use ginger, you can use garlic. There's a lot that you can add. So we are going to now wait for this to caramelize. Andy, how much is this the total water in which the rice has to cook?
4 cups.
You measured it already? This is drinking water, right? So then you have to give me the exact water. Okay, so now in my mom's house, there is water that is used for washing the dishes and everything, but the water that is used for cooking is completely different. It's filtered. It comes from, like, it's whatever, mineral water. It's treated so that it's free of any additives or whatever. Onions are coming along. We don't want to over caramelize the onions in this case. I'll show you what they look like. They're just turning slightly brownish pink. I'm going to continue to, we need the bay leaves too. Some other options for aromatics are you can put star anise, you can use curry leaves, you can use ginger, you can use garlic, you can use bay leaves. I also need cinnamon, which I didn't find. So meet my nephew, the chef. He's shy. Come here. Okay, he's very shy. So he just won the award for Best Chef of the Year. And he got 2 awards in 2 weeks, which is completely, it took us by surprise, but not surprised. His talent is beyond ordinary. He's a monster in the kitchen. He's knowledgeable about various cuisines, and he is the director of 4 restaurants. He's the culinary director for 4 restaurants. So he is totally ahead of the game. Did you measure this or what, Addy?
4 cups.
This is 4 cups? Okay, so the rice that I have is 2 cups. And so I'm not going to be pressure cooking this pulao. I'm actually going to make it in an open pot kind of a setup, but I'm using the cooker as a pot. I'm not really going to be putting a lid on it or anything. Right, so this is how brown we're going to go. Not going to go more than this. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and add half of the bell peppers. The reason is that when you fry the bell peppers, they have like a nice aroma that they release, and the oil gets infused. So just put half of it. The other half we can put in the end. You can also add spinach, you can add carrots, you can add whatever vegetables you have. I feel like it's really, you can add jackfruit. So there's really a lot of possibilities. Let me just tilt the camera so you can see what is going on. In terms of dry spices, I'm going to be using good old salt. I'll be using paprika, which is a Kashmiri red chili powder. And I'm going to be using coriander seed powder, which is dhania powder. That's it. I may use garam masala all the way in the end. Not quite sure yet. And to up the protein content of this pulao, I will be adding a handful of lentils. The lentils that I'm choosing to add today are going to be chana dal, which is a Bengal gram lentil. That's what I'm going to add. Just going to briefly wash it, rinse it, and add it. Don't soak it because you're not trying to make a dal out of it. You just want to add some form of protein. You can also add soy chunks. You can also eat this pulao with firm tofu if you really are careful about, or you can do boiled eggs on the side. There's many ways to add protein to this vegetable and carb rich recipe. Okay, so I'm not going to caramelize this further. You can see I can actually smell the bell peppers. So I am going to go ahead and add the rest of the ingredients. You want to give me the lentils? We don't have? Chana dal we don't have? What dal do we have? Whichever one you have, just give something. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and add the potatoes. Because it's gonna take the longest time to cook and you don't want them to come off as raw, you're gonna go ahead and add the potatoes into the oil for a little bit. Don't add any salt yet. Just saute the potatoes. Hi Monica, good afternoon, good morning. Wherever you're joining in from, happy Holi to you. Everyone that celebrates. This is not, no, this is for Nani's khichdi. We don't want soaked ones. We want just rinsed ones. ज़्यादा soak करेंगे तो गल जाएगी ना?
नहीं तो भी निकाली है.
हाँ, but this is not enough. We need more. We have 2 cups of rice, so we need at least a handful of lentils. Give any lentils, it doesn't matter. Doesn't have to be chana dal, it can be any. Okay, so the potatoes are doing its thing. I personally don't like to add any turmeric to my vegetable pulao, but if you love the yellow color, by all means add the turmeric. You can also add Kitchen King masala. You can add whatever tickles your funny bone. I've rinsed, so that chef of the year is actually assisting me in my kitchen. Oh my god. Yeah, my boy is here. My homie's helping me out. This is the lentils. I'm going to just drain the water out. We don't want any excess moisture from them. We just want the lentils to have a presence. It's going to create a nice textural mouthfeel, and it's going to add a little bit of protein. So when lentils are combined with rice, it actually becomes a complete protein. So anybody that tells you that if you're vegetarian, you don't get enough protein, this is the way to get protein. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the cauliflower. The potatoes are a little bit fried, sauteed in the oil. Just add all of the rest of the vegetables. Do not add the salt yet. Again, we're going to saute this for a bit. You can go ahead and add the dry spices, which is the coriander seed powder. If you're trying to make a tawa pulao, then you have to add ready-made pav bhaji masala to give it that flavor. And if you're just trying to keep it like a good home-style lunchbox vegetable pulao, then you don't need the pav bhaji masala. I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of the Kashmiri red chili. This is very potent and it just gives out a very rich color. Saute this. Remember, I have not added any salt yet. Correct? The rice is soaking really well. Now I'm going to go ahead and add all of these lentils. These are rinsed and washed and rinsed. Don't soak these. I'm using mung dal here, which is the tiny yellow lentils. You can use any lentils of your choice. You can even use a can of chickpeas and up the protein gain that way, or you can serve it with the chickpea raita. You can serve it with a moong dal salad. There's many ways to include protein in the diet. You can serve it with stir-fried tofu. You can serve it with paneer pakore. Like, there's so many ways that you can make it happen. You can add paneer to this. Just don't add it when you're actually cooking it, because it makes the paneer hard. So saute the paneer in ghee and then soak it in hot water right after you take it out from the ghee or the oil. Or you can air fry your paneer. And then just add it before you serve. Toss it into the pulao. Okay, so this is what it looks like right now. Everything is well combined. It's looking really, really good. Now I'm going to go ahead and add the rice. This is 2 cups of rice. Actually, no, let me just add the water first. This is 4 cups of water. If you're making it in an open pan, you definitely need the water to boil before you add the rice. If you're going to make this in an instant pot, or if you're going to make it in a pressure cooker with putting the lid and allowing the whistle to build, then you don't need the water to boil. You're going to add the water and the rice all at the same time. Okay, so now I'm going to allow this to come to a boil. I will add salt. Now, one question I get all the time is, how much salt is enough for a pulao or a biryani or when you're making rice? So just remember, when you add the salt has to be in proportion to the rice, not in proportion to the water. So one trick is to make your rice just as you make pasta, but when you're making a pulao dish, that's not possible because you want to retain all of the broth that infuses with the flavor of the vegetables, and you can't throw it out. So the best thing to do is to allow this to come to a boil. When you taste this broth, it should be as salty as your tears, right? So we all know how salty tears are. When it seems like it's a little too salty compared to how much water we have, then you know that your rice will have the perfect seasoning. I don't like to put whole black peppers, but a lot of people do. So if you're that person, do you get whatever brings pleasure to your heart, make it your way. For all the people who are celebrating Holi and they're exhausted from playing Holi, they really don't know what to make for lunch, and your house help or your cook is not coming home to cook dinner for you or lunch for you today, make this simple vegetable pulao. If you're just joining me, I'm just going to say a quick hello to Anisha and Yogesh Kumar. Welcome to the Queen's Curry Kitchen. If this is your first time watching me live, make sure it's not your last. Follow this page and make your notifications turn on so that whenever I'm live, you can catch the action. Hello also to Warren, who is tuning in. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Let me know where you're watching us from so I can greet you appropriately in the curry kitchen. We are at the stage when I have sauteed vegetables. We started out with cumin seeds. Just going to do a quick recap, but feel free to catch the replay as well. We started with sauteing some cumin seeds in ghee. Then I added red onions. I caramelized them till they were about pinkish brown, and then I added potatoes. I sauteed that for a few seconds. Then I added cauliflower. We're making a vegetable pulao. And then I added bell peppers. Half of the quantity of bell peppers that I'm going to use, I added to the hot oil to infuse the oil with all those aromatics. I also used cloves, 4 to 5 cloves of 4 to 5 whole cloves, and I used 1 black cardamom. The rice that I'm using is basmati rice. I've used about 2 cups, and the water that I've used to boil those 2 cups of rice is 4 cups of water. Okay. Now we're at the stage where I've just added salt to this broth that's simmering. The rice is not there yet. I washed the rice and kept it ready. You can see it's coming to a rolling boil, and this is the perfect time to add my washed and soaked basmati rice. I'm going to stick the camera right back where it was, and I'll show you the rest of the action. If you have any questions related to what you're seeing, feel free to drop it in the comments. If you have any questions related to Indian food in general, feel free to drop it in the comments. I'm trying to moderate the comments as much as I can. I'll also be going through the replay to see if there's any questions or comments after this live has ended, and I'm going to try my best to answer those for you. If you want to continue your journey with Indian food, we do have a private Facebook group called Curry Lovers, and you should be able to join it without any problems. So we have special content that we do for our group members. I'm going to be coming up with a lot of specific recipes. Now, one way we decided to up the protein content of this vegetable pulao, you can do a bunch of things. You can either add soy nuggets or nutri nuggets to this pulao to up the protein content. You can add paneer after it's been completely cooked. Paneer is going to get added all the way in the end. Just fry the paneer, soak it in hot water, and add it to the last process just before serving. I've chosen to add some moong dal into this pulao just to give a good textural mouthfeel and also to up protein content. Okay, once your rice is added to this pot, you're not going to touch it, you're not going to stir it too much, you're going to leave it just the way it is. I'm going to now go ahead and add the frozen peas which I had soaked. Those go in. It's going to be a very nice, colorful dish to serve. Ideally, it just needs a good raita pairing. If you're not good with raitas, you can just eat it just by itself. It's a complete meal. If you like a little bit of variety on your plate, you can add raita, you can add papadums, you can add chutneys to it. But honestly, I just feel like it's such a comfort food for me. I grew up eating this, especially it's a one-pot meal, so we don't have too many dishes to wash after it's over. So that's kind of like really the comforting thing about it. I'm just going to add the last bit of the peas, just drain out all the water. Okay, so we have the lentils, we have the peas. There's a lot of carbs in this dish. And the way to counter that is to add lentils or serve it with a side of stir-fried paneer or serve it with some tofu. Everybody's very protein conscious nowadays, so definitely take heed of it. I've added a couple of teaspoons of the ghee, drizzled it around for its sweet aroma. The water is disappearing rapidly because it's boiling rapidly. What I am going to do is I'll show you what it looks like right now. It happens fairly quickly, but there's still a lot of moisture right there. So whenever you cook any kind of pulao or any kind of rice, you can do it like this. Just remember not to touch it when it gets to this point. Once all the moisture disappears, you won't see any of this, then you know that your rice is done. And then it's going to cook in residual steam. So for that, we're going to just cover the pot, and that should do it, okay? You can use chana dal, you can use moong dal, whatever you have, you can use that. So warm welcome to Anicia Rosa, warm welcome to Yogesh Kumar, Warren, Huda, Galton, Martinez, everybody that loves Indian food decided to tune in today. So thank you for joining me. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you want to get a free recipe to a chana masala recipe that I've created, it's available for free on our website. The website is queenscurrykitchen.com. Follow this page or send us a DM and we'll send you a link to the free download. It's really the coolest recipe that you can use to break the ice with Indian food. If you've never tried Indian food, if you've never tried cooking Indian food and you're really trying to understand more about it, you can start there. It's a great starting point. You can make the chickpea curry. It barely calls for 4 or 5 ingredients. In my practice as a teaching chef, I always encourage people to not buy a truckload of ingredients and to make food their own, even though my roots are strongly based in Indian food. I definitely encourage people to make the flavors their own and to learn to cook by intuition rather than by following recipes. If you'd like to take a class with me, all of the class information is also on our website, www.queenscurrykitchen.com. Just go into classes. You should be able to see classes for beginner, intermediate, and advanced levels of wherever you might be in your cooking journey. And if you don't see something that you're interested in, you can always shoot us a DM or a PM and we'll be happy to create a class for you. All classes happen online, on Zoom, and it's a two-way hands-on cooking class. So I'll be cooking on this side of the camera, you'll be on that side of the camera. We'll be logged in from 2 devices where you'll have a top shot and you'll also be able to talk to me. So that's the best way to do it. Results are absolutely phenomenal. You'll get supply lists, you will get the shopping list, you'll get a printed recipe way before the actual class, so you can actually be well prepared. And if you have any problems arranging for any of the ingredients, I can help you out with that as well. If you like chai, if you like spices, there's an online shop on our website that you can head over to and you can order yourself a spice box. You can order yourself just spice refills, or you can order our great masala chai, which is superbly loaded with all the wonderful aromatics of cinnamon, cardamom, cloves, ginger powder, fennel, and black pepper. It's a very authentic chai masala. It also has Assam black tea leaves. So all you need to do is just boil it with water, add the milk of your choice, whether it's plant-based or cow's milk, and that should do it. So now you can see that this water has pretty much evaporated. It's quite dry right now. Okay, now this is the part where I'm just going to put the cover on it and it's going to cook in its residual steam. This rice is about 80% done. So so I don't need to do a whole lot. I'm just gonna turn down the heat to the lowest setting, and then I'm gonna cover this thing so we can make it, and in about 5 to 7 minutes it should be ready to eat. Okay, so if you were in a fix of not knowing what you want to feed your family today because your cooking help didn't show up, or you wanted an easy recipe that is a one-pot situation, this is something that's super duper easy. My mom sometimes also makes pressure cooker biryani, which is just the bomb. And what she does is, just like we sauteed the potatoes and the veggies, mom actually sautés chicken, and then she throws everything in with a whole lot more of whole spices, etc. And her biryani tastes really, really good. Okay, so that's my pressure cooker. That's just, I'm not pressure cooking it, but I've set it to a very low temperature so that I'll be able to create some residual steam in which the rice will fluff up. I'm gonna turn off the stove in about 3 to 4 minutes, and that should do it. If you enjoyed watching this video, definitely follow this page and keep your notifications on so you'll be notified the next time that we go live. I do a lot of Facebook lives, but there is no set schedule. Just keep the notifications on so you don't miss out all the fun that we have in my kitchen. Currently I'm on Indian Standard Time, but usually all my lives are around the Eastern Standard Time, which is in New York, and usually in the afternoons around noon-ish, okay, EST. So you can always catch the replay, so you're not going to miss out, you're not going to lose out. Definitely stay in touch, follow this page, and don't forget to go and download that chana masala recipe which I've created just for you. There are also a ton of ebooks on our page that you can download and start cooking like a pro right away. Our Instagram handle is Indian Food Queens. Definitely follow us there. If you create something that you learn in one of my food demonstrations or in my classes, create it and then don't forget to tag me so I can give you a great applause on your effort. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll catch you really soon in the next one. Until then, wishing you and your family a happy Holi. Be blissful, be flavorful, and I'll catch you very soon in the next video. Bye.